products. What's the next better way of measuring products? I think we've touched on some of it, but I'd like to hear everybody's perspective.
I think the next things are to measure the products, the suites, and their whole detection capability. Not only to have to look at the on-demand. It's much more important to have a look on the whole product. There's OL blocker, spam blocker, or anything else. Behavioral blocking is a much bigger thing now, and also the dynamic and whole product testing. The user is much more connected to the internet, and the malware vector is changing from file-based to the internet vector. So we have to take care of this, I think, and that's the setup for the new test series. It's not only the on-demand thing.
And memory waste, it's
memory waste,
getting away from the file-based stuff.
Also with the cloud-based things in the malware industry. Imagine every computer in the world has a cloud-based scanner. What will happen with the DNS servers in the world? The MD5 hashes which are sent get much more and more and more. Hope this is not too much for the internet. This could be a problem. So the thing is that some vendors are providing their cloud-based services located to the enterprise customers' servers local, and get updates to the servers once a time, and the clients can connect to the server in the company local. It's a little bit time delay, but it's only needed for one-time update, a day or 2 hours. It depends on the vendor. There are different approaches to do this, so by vendors.
Yeah. I mean, it'd be great if if both of you, you touched upon the, I guess, challenges, the costs, because changing, all testing procedures, it's not trivial. It's not free, and carries all sorts of implications for who are you making tests for, who's going to pay for all that new hardware, hard work, development work. Mm-hmm.
So I agree about the whole product testing. I think that we need to spend a lot more time, frankly, in the testing on evasions. I think that's an area where it's been a bit of a taboo in the AV industry, but coming from the network IPS industry, it's sort of standard that everybody knows, here's the 15 different things you can do, with TCP fragmentation, or TCP segmentation or IP fragmentation, or as we move up the stack, various different things, right? Same thing with AV. There's different types of URL obfuscation. You've got, different types of encoding, base 64 encoding, et cetera, right? Even compression. I mean, Mario and I were just talking the other day that, most AV products, let me ask you a quick question. Who here runs WinZip? Okay, latest version? Yeah? Okay. Most AV products can't detect malware if it's compressed using the latest version of WinZip. There's no excuse for that. That's the kind of thing that testing needs to show, because then vendors will add it into their products. And in terms of why don't they have it, product development cycles are long. I hear all kinds of excuses, right? But at the end of the day, it impacts you, and that's so focusing on the areas like that. I mean, yes, 100% real world testing. We absolutely have to have it, but being able to show here's the real world. Okay, we went out to these URLs and did drive-bys and did socially engineered malware, and then being able to take it back and say, okay, from a host IPS perspective, we ran X number of exploits using Metasploit, and we were able to compromise these systems. And oh, look, these guys gave us a pop-up saying they blocked it, but I got code execution anyway. What are they doing wrong? We'd be shocked at how many times that happened in our last test. I've got videos I'll show tomorrow, which were somewhat humorous. And being able to take that and say, okay, well, they get X number of exploits. They get X number of evasions. Now let's take that and compare that to the drive-by numbers, and then look at the drive-by samples and say, why are people missing? Is it, the bad guys are doing the testing. The bad guys know which evasions they can use to get past any AV product. It's just the good guys who've been sort of had their hands tied by the AV vendors because they haven't wanted to be tested in those ways. So our perspective is, gloves have to come off if we're going to do a service to the industry, the AV industry, as well as to consumers. So in terms of where is it all going, I think that you're probably going to see a lot more conflict, at least between us and the AV world in the future. Hopefully not that much. I'd love to not have that, but you're probably going to see it. And you're probably going to be seeing a lot more real-world testing. Folks like Peter, ourselves, are dedicated to doing that, because that's the only way that you're going to have a real idea of what's going on.
Now, we've talked in general about some of the shortcomings with the methodology and how we need to improve it and so forth, but you all have a lot of day-to-day experience looking at the performance of different products. So I'm going to ask a naughty question. What two products do you really like, and what two products do you really not like, just from a general trend standpoint? No pun intended.
You won't get any answer from me of this case.
Okay. So if I put all the products together, I would pretty much catch just about everything. So I wish I had a product that existed that would do that. Given that I don't, the two I like the best right now are Trend and McAfee. The two I like the least right now are AVG and Panda.
No, we stay as an independent test lab. There is no recommendation and no. Sorry for this. Really. I'm
just curious about why the shyness. It seems like we're all friends here. We're not being we are being
videotaped. I'm sure I'm going to get hate mail after this.
Mario, do you have a perspective on this? Even though you're
I haven't seen all
day-to-day testing.
I've seen most of the products in action, and I've played and tested with them, but I haven't recently seen the wealth of the products in their whole product suite. So I know sort of a lot of the development teams. I know that many companies have sort of the great experts, and a lot of really great technology goes into their products. So it's really difficult to sort of compare. I couldn't even tell you I think Trends, McAfee's, and Semantics products are generally really really good. They're just a lot of money, a lot of effort has went into that. But then you do have other companies, like Kaspersky. Even once you mentioned, Panda and AVG have spent a lot of time building the suite, and they do some stuff well. I don't know the latest, status, and as the code bases change, versions change, you do have a product that you thought that was very good. All of a sudden, you start getting super verbose, and for me, the biggest annoyance with all these products would be excessive pop-ups, and excessive interaction with the user who probably has no idea what's happening in the machine. It's almost like the UAC problem. It's just what does this really mean to a user? At some point, you'll start ignoring it. So you start ignoring your basic security.
What I think about good or bad antivirus products is that you don't have to have a look at the percentages too much, because if a product has 99.5 or 99.6%, it doesn't really matter. Mm-hmm. That's too close. So you have to have a look at the product, at its capabilities. Does it fit for your corporation? Is it the real thing? Is there an admin panel which is useful, or do you have to install every client running to the computer, or can you deploy from the server? There are different approaches from the vendors too. There are some very good vendors which have an excellent detection, but you can't use it in a corporate environment, because if you have to set it up on 40,000 clients and you have to run to every client, there's no chance for it. And there are some vendors which are not using their own engine. They're using foreign engines and are focusing on only on the admin panel. That's another approach which they're doing. They're buying foreign work for detection and doing only the admin panel. And there are some leading vendors which have excellent detection and some bugs in their software. That's a different way. So you have to select a vendor for your fits really. And there are some bad vendors which bad detection, but